I am Samuel, a 15-year-old boy with a deep brown complexion that my mom always said was kissed by the sun. But growing up in a small, mostly white town, my skin became a target, a symbol that set me apart and made me the focus of hate I never asked for. This is my story, one that I carry with me every day. I still remember my first day at school in the new town. My family had moved here for a better life, but it didn't feel that way when I walked into the classroom. As soon as I entered, the room fell silent. Eyes turned to me, and I heard a whisper from the back. "Why does he look so dirty?" The teacher smiled and introduced me to the class. I smiled back, but my stomach was in knots. As I walked to my seat, I heard giggles and a faint monkey from the corner. My hands clenched, but I told myself to stay calm. I didn't want to make a scene. During recess, I tried to make friends. I approached a group of boys playing basketball, hoping to join in. One of them looked at me, smirked, and said, "We don't need another player. Especially not someone like you." The word stung like a slap. That night, I cried into my pillow. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't want them to worry. It wasn't just the boys at school. Some of the girls would giggle when I walked by and whisper things like, "Why does his hair look like that?" It's so weird. One day, during a group project, a girl refused to sit next to me. She said, "I don't want to catch anything." The other kids laughed, and I felt so small, like I didn't belong. Lunch was the worst. I would sit alone, hoping someone might join me, but they never did. One time, a group of boys threw their leftover food at me, laughing and shouting, "Eat this, monkey! Isn't this what you like?" I left the cafeteria and hid in the bathroom until lunch was over. It wasn't just school. Some of our neighbors weren't kind either. Our family lived in a small house at the edge of the town. On weekends, kids from the neighborhood would ride their bikes past our house and shout things like, "Go back to Africa." Once, someone spray painted the word nigger on our front fence. My dad scrubbed it off before I could see it, but I heard him crying that night. Seeing my strong, proud father cry broke something inside me. One time, I was walking home from school, and an older man in a pickup truck slowed down as he passed me. He rolled down his window and spat on the ground near my feet. "You don't belong here," he said. Before driving off, I felt dirty. Like no matter how much I washed, I could never scrub off the hate people threw at me. The worst day of my life happened when I was in 8th grade. It was during gym class, and we were playing soccer. I accidentally bumped into one of the popular boys, Jake. While going for the ball, he pushed me hard and shouted, "Watch where you're going, you stupid monkey." I tried to walk away, but he grabbed me by my shirt and shoved me to the ground. A group of boys surrounded me, laughing. One of them said, "Let's see if his skin gets darker when we hit him." Jake punched me in the stomach, and I doubled over in pain. Someone else kicked dirt at my face. The gym teacher finally came over. But instead of helping me, he said, "Boys will be boys. Shake hands and move on." I limped home that day, my body aching and my heart heavier than ever. When my mom saw the bruises, she held me close and cried. She wanted to go to the school, but I begged her not to. I was scared it would make things worse. The hardest part of all this was the loneliness. I had no one to talk to. I started to believe the things they said about me. I wondered if I really didn't belong, if there was something wrong with me. I spent most of my time in my room, drawing or listening to music. I loved art because it was the only way I could express myself without fear. My sketches were filled with dark, shadowy figures, representations of how I felt inside. At night, I would pray, asking God why He made me this way. Why did you make me different if it only brings me pain? I would whisper through tears. Things didn't start to change until high school. I met Mrs. Johnson, my English teacher. She noticed that I never spoke in class and always sat in the back. One day, she asked me to stay after class. She looked me in the eyes and said, "Samuel, I see you. You are more than what they say about you." Her words broke through the walls I had built around myself. She encouraged me to join the school's art club. At first, I was hesitant, but she insisted. In the art club, I met Mia, a girl who loved painting. She was kind and didn't care about my skin color. Slowly, I started to open up to her. She became my first real friend. With Mrs. Johnson's guidance, I began to find my voice. She helped me write an essay about my experiences with racism for a school competition. I was terrified to share it, but she convinced me it was important. When I read my essay aloud during the school assembly, the room was silent. For the first time, people saw my pain. Some of my classmates came up to me afterward and apologized. Not everyone changed, but it felt like a small victory. Now, as I write this, I still carry the scars of those years. The pain doesn't just disappear, but I've learned to channel it into my art and writing. I've learned that my worth isn't determined by what others think of me. Racism is a heavy burden, but it has also made me stronger. I hope that by sharing my story, I can inspire others to stand up against hate and to see the beauty in diversity. To anyone who feels like they don't belong, you are not alone. Your pain is real, but so is your strength. Keep going, even when it feels impossible. There is light, even in the darkest times.
Please subscribe, like, comment and share this video. It means a lot to us. Thank you.